of a surprise in some NBA news headlines over the last day or so. DeMarcus Cousins getting waived by the Milwaukee Bucks, but hey, I think he played pretty well, and obviously the Warriors know him pretty darn well.
Yeah, so he was basically signed because Brook Lopez went down with that back injury, and I thought DeMarcus Cousins was able to kind of revive his career for a little while with the Milwaukee Bucks. Looked healthy. He looked as spry as he's looked in a couple of years, and obviously doesn't have that explosion or athleticism or physicality that he once had when he was with the Sacramento Kings and New Orleans Pelicans because of the knee injuries and the Achilles issue. But the point here being is that Boogie Cousins displayed some ability, and I think if you're the Golden State Warriors, you take a look at that front court with Kevon Looney and James Wiseman. Would it be wise to bring him back? He understands the culture. He understands the system. He is well respected by the coaching staff, the front office, as well as all of the players on that roster, and I actually think that Boogie Cousins would be able to help Golden State because they've been struggling a little bit with more physical and beefy centers down low because Looney and Wiseman, who has yet to come back, the latter, aren't really those types of players. Now, you know DeMarcus Cousins played well when the general manager for the Milwaukee Bucks really praised him for what he was able to do. It's an endorsement for another team, which I think is telling. Now, you're probably watching saying, well, if the Bucks liked him so much, why'd they let him go? They just wanted to free open a roster spot. John Horst on Boogie, we wouldn't have been able to get through this difficult stretch of the season as successfully as we did without DeMarcus Cousins. At the end of the day, we made a strategic decision to have an open roster spot, but there's nothing that would prevent us from partnering with DeMarcus again down the road. He was so good for us, and hopefully we helped him too, and helping him too is just helping him get back on an NBA roster. As for what he was able to do with the Bucks in those less than 20 games, 9 points per game, 6 rebounds, and assists per night, can give you a little bit defensively, holding it down on the low block, and he shot around 47% from the floor. So if you're asking Boogie to be the 20 and 10 guy that he once was, we're far, far past that. If you're asking him, though, to give you playoff minutes like he did with the Clippers, big minutes like he did with the Bucks, he can do that. And in a couple of games, he kind of went off. So I think the Dubs need to beef up that front court just a bit because they've struggled going up against big centers like a Rudy Gobert, like a DeAndre Ayton. Joel Embiid was in his bag in the second half in Philly. That's kind of the point of emphasis here if you're Golden State. And, hey, a familiar face back with the Dubs. You kind of like that, too.
And maybe he can finish what he started. The 1 year he was with Golden State, he got hurt before the playoffs.
Blew out that quad.
Maybe he's a part of a championship caliber team. It could be interesting. What do you guys think? Should the Warriors bring him back to the Bay? Type S for signed Boogie, type P for pass. I'd like to see it, man. I'd like to see Boogie Cousins head back out west.
Be kind of cool.
To the Golden State Warriors. Let us know your thoughts on this one. Now we transition from that to Steph Curry struggling. What is going on? Shooters struggle from time to time, but it is somewhat notable, Chase. Like some of the games recently, I mean, he was awful against Dallas last night.
He was terrible against Dallas. He was even worse the other night against the Miami Heat. Now, you're looking at that headline down below saying, worst stretch of Steph's career? Or are you just trying to drum up drama? Steph Curry said it himself, as evidenced by the quotes we're about to show you here in just a few moments, that this is the worst stretch shooting-wise of his career. Against Dallas, 5 of 24. Against Miami, 8 of, I believe, not 41, but something close to that. 2 of 19 from 3. 25 combined points in 2 games for Steph Curry. That is so rare. And here's what he had to say about those shooting struggles. I haven't had a worse stretch over the course of the last 10 to 15-ish games. Usually there is a mechanics issue I can focus on, but now it's dealing with swarming defenses and dealing with the shots that I'm going to get. Now, I think at the end of the day, Steph Curry is going to be fine. He's had some of these cold stretches over the last couple of years, and he responds by then going on an absolute heater like that historic stretch he went on after the All-Star break. And I kind of want to hone in on that part of the quote where Steph Curry is talking about defenses swarming him. Good thing is that Klay Thompson is expected to return potentially on Sunday against the Cleveland Cavaliers, so that'll spread the floor a little bit. Opposing defenses, although they might not be as scared of Klay Thompson coming off those injuries, they're not going to be able to double-team Steph Curry as much. Steph Curry's going to be fine. He's on a cold spell right now, but if I'm going to trust anybody to turn it around, it's the best shooter in the history of basketball.
By the way, the 8 for 41 was combined 3 of 17 against Miami.
There we go.
So yeah, he has been struggling, but guys, like, what are we just? This is the end of Steph. Of course not. He's had a couple of clunkers, and he's a little banged up, it sounds like, so he's going to sit out tonight. Been dealing with a quad injury. I'm not worried about Steph. Let him rest up for a game or two. He'll be dropping 40 pieces before we all know it. So we'll ask you guys. I'm at -10. I'm not worried about Steph Curry. 1 being not worried at all, 10 being very concerned. What is your level of concern? What, 1, 0? I mean, Steph's resume speaks for itself. He's having an MVP season. He's going to be just fine.
Have a deal we want to tell you about thanks to our friends at Fanatics, today's presenting sponsor. This Warrior shirt still on sale. Nike gear, really nice material, and you get to rock your squad and support your squad. If you plug in that link down below, chatsports.com/WarriorsT, that deal will apply. So this shirt was $35. It's now still on sale for $24. Get it right now. That link will be available in the comments section as well as the description. We know here on Golden State Warriors Today, people are tuned in from kind of every pocket of the United States and all across the world. Hey, Fanatics will hook you up no matter where you live.
Let's talk about Andrew Wiggins now, Chase, and could he be an all-star? Listen, what he's been able to do, and he is the case study example of sometimes you just need to be in a better environment, and he's been fantastic this year for Golden State.
He's been so good, and he's had years where his numbers have been better, but the impact that he's having on Golden State this year has been profound. And in terms of shooting splits, this is by far and away the best year of his career. Of course, that's a benefit of playing alongside Steph Curry and a very good passer in Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, and a bunch of other really good pieces on this Warriors roster. But you take a look at the numbers, 19 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, elite defensive work, 49% from the field, 43% from distance. And this conversation is one that a lot of people are having nationally and across the world. Andrew Wiggins, of course, an international player from Canada. He has let it be known by his play that he's legit. Andrew Wiggins, 4th in All-Star voting in the Western Conference front court. Only LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and Paul George are ahead of him, and Paul George still dealing with that shoulder injury.
Yep.
That could pave the way for Andrew Wiggins to realistically be named to an all-star team, which is going to be big for him because so many people had labeled him as a bust. They labeled him as overrated. I always say this about Andrew Wiggins. He's overpaid, but he's underrated. Steve Kerr on Andrew Wiggins calling him the perfect fit. You have to have 5 guys who fit together. He's a perfect fit for us. And Harrison, we saw when the Warriors were able to go on that championship dynasty run that they had all these pieces that seamlessly fit together to play a style of beautiful basketball that had a lot of semblance, continuity, and camaraderie. And that's why I'm getting some vibes of this Warriors team being able to make another deep run. Andrew Wiggins has been a big part of that.
Look, he's been a grinder. He's worked hard. It was never fair when he got drafted to get the LeBron James comparisons. Then he gets traded right after he gets drafted.
Jordan.
I mean, it's unfair when we fans and media members do things like that. And yeah, look, will he ever live up to that number 1 pick billing? Probably not. But if he goes on and is a 2 or 3 time All-Star and averages 17, 18 points for his career and is a key contributor for winning teams, that's a pretty damn good career, and I think that is definitely worthwhile. And he's worked to get to this point. Like, he could have mailed it in after 4 or 5 years into his career. Well, I got enough money. I'm just going to kind of, stick around as long as I can. He said, no, I want to be a really good player, and he's become one over the last year and a half or so.
Yeah, no question about that. And props go to him for working on his craft, getting in the lab, and having the best shooting year of his career. There have been times when the Warriors have either been shorthanded or he's just had to bail the squad out at the end of games, and his shot clocks where he stepped up and he's really come through.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So, hey, the question is, will he be an all-star? Spam AS if you think he should be an all-star. I think he should be in the mix. I mean, it's a good year for him to get in there with Kawhi not playing this year, obviously, and some other guys dealing with injuries. But I think there's a good opportunity. Spam AS if you think Andrew Wiggins should be an all-star.